Have you ever wondered about the true cost of the oil that fuels your car, heats your home, and powers your electronic devices? As we journey through our daily lives, it's easy to overlook the origins of the resources we consume. Today we cast our spotlight on Nigeria, a land rich in oil yet steeped in controversy. What is the real environmental and social impact of oil exploration in this African nation? To answer that question, we must delve deep into the chronicles of oil exploration in Nigeria. Nigeria's oil saga began in the year 1908 with the establishment of the Nigerian Bitumen Corporation, an entity driven by a vision to turn the vast bitumen deposits in the country into a profitable venture. Yet the journey to black gold was not as straightforward as they had hoped. The initial attempts at oil exploration were met with frustration and disappointment, as the elusive oil deposits remained hidden beneath the Nigerian soil. The breakthrough finally came almost half a century later. In the year 1956, after years of relentless exploration, oil was discovered in the small town of Oloibiri in Nigeria's Niger Delta region. This marked a pivotal moment in Nigeria's history. The discovery of oil promised wealth and prosperity, and it ignited a surge of excitement across the nation. Yet, this newfound wealth did not go unnoticed. The international arena was quick to turn its gaze towards Nigeria. Major players in the oil industry, including Royal Dutch Shell, Chevron, and ExxonMobil, swooped in, eager to stake their claim on the Nigerian oil fields. These companies brought with them advanced technology and expertise, significantly boosting Nigeria's oil production capacity. The involvement of these international oil companies marked the beginning of a new era in Nigeria's oil industry. Their operations transformed the country's economy, turning it from a primarily agricultural society into a major oil producer. The oil sector quickly became the backbone of the Nigerian economy, contributing a significant proportion of the country's GDP and government revenue. The discovery of oil and the subsequent involvement of international oil companies also brought with them a host of challenges. Issues of oil spillage, environmental degradation, and community unrest would soon become significant concerns. Yet these issues did not deter the exploration efforts. The lure of oil was simply too strong. By the 1970s, Nigeria had become a major player in the global oil industry, attracting a host of international oil companies. The dawn of oil exploration had indeed brought about a significant transformation in the country's economy and society. Yet, as we would soon find out, it also came with a hefty price. As the oil industry in Nigeria grew, so did the presence of international oil giants such as Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and Total. These colossal corporations, each with their unique strategies, have played a significant role in shaping the oil industry in Nigeria. Let's take a closer look at these companies. Shell, the first to strike oil in Nigeria, has remained a dominant force. With over 60 years of operation, Shell has significantly contributed to the Nigerian economy, creating jobs and fostering local businesses. Next up is Chevron, another titan in the oil industry. Chevron has been in Nigeria for over 50 years and has created an extensive network of oil wells and pipelines, significantly contributing to Nigeria's oil production. ExxonMobil, an American multinational, has been a key player in Nigeria since the 70s. With a focus on deep-water exploration, ExxonMobil has uncovered vast oil reserves, pushing Nigeria's oil production to new heights. And then we have Total, a French multinational. Total entered Nigeria in the 60s and has since made a significant impact on Nigeria's oil industry, with a focus on offshore and deep-water exploration. Together, these companies have made a substantial contribution to Nigeria's economy, accounting for the majority of the country's oil production and export. Their exploration activities have led to the discovery of vast oil reserves, fueling Nigeria's growth and development. However, the story doesn't end here. These companies, while significantly contributing to Nigeria's GDP, have also been at the center of numerous controversies. Their operations have raised questions about environmental sustainability, corporate responsibility, and the equitable distribution of oil wealth. So as we delve deeper into the tale of Nigeria's oil industry, it's essential to remember that the rise of these oil giants is not just a story of economic growth and oil exploration. It's also a story of power, influence, and the challenges that come with managing one of the world's most valuable resources. Behind the glamour of the oil industry, a darker reality lurks. It's a world where the pursuit of black gold leaves a path of devastation in its wake. Oil exploration in its very nature is an intrusive process. It begins with the clearing of vast tracts of land, leading to massive deforestation. Wildlife habitats are destroyed, ecosystems are disrupted, and biodiversity suffers. But that's just the beginning. Once the drilling starts, the problems escalate. Oil spills become a common occurrence, poisoning the land and waterways. This toxic cocktail seeps into the soil, killing plant life and rendering the land barren. It contaminates rivers and seas, massacring marine life and leaving behind a lifeless, oily sludge. Then there's gas flaring, an often overlooked aspect of oil production. This process involves burning off excess gas, releasing harmful greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It contributes significantly to global warming and climate change while also causing local air pollution. This pollution can lead to a range of health issues for the local population, from respiratory problems to cancers. The social impact of oil exploration is equally grim. Communities living near oil fields often find themselves displaced, their homes and livelihoods sacrificed for the promise of oil. What's worse, the wealth generated by this oil rarely trickles down to these communities. Instead, they're left to grapple with the environmental and health repercussions. Conflict, too, is a common byproduct of oil exploration. Disputes over land rights, compensation for environmental damage, and the distribution of oil revenue can escalate into violence. These conflicts, often fueled by the presence of oil companies, can tear communities apart and lead to a cycle of unrest and instability. The oil industry, while a boon for Nigeria's economy, has had a profound and often devastating impact on its environment and people. It's a harsh reality that underscores the true cost of oil, a cost that's all too often overlooked in the pursuit of economic gain. The glamour of the oil industry hides a dark side, one that we must confront if we're to find a sustainable path forward. As we look towards the future, the question remains, what is the fate of oil in Nigeria? Right now, the oil industry in Nigeria is at a crossroads. The country has been heavily dependent on oil for decades, with the black gold accounting for nearly 90% of its export earnings. But this reliance on oil has come with a heavy price. Environmental damage, economic instability, and social unrest have all been linked to the industry. Efforts are being made to mitigate the impact of oil exploration and production. The government and oil companies have implemented stricter regulations to reduce environmental damage. They've also stepped up efforts to clean up oil spills and rehabilitate affected communities. But these measures are just a drop in the ocean compared to the scale of the problem. At the same time, the global shift towards renewable energy is gaining momentum. The world is moving away from fossil fuels, and Nigeria cannot afford to be left behind. The country has significant potential for renewable energy, particularly solar and wind power. Harnessing these resources could reduce Nigeria's dependence on oil and pave the way for a more sustainable future. But the transition to renewable energy won't be easy. It requires significant investment, technological innovation, and a shift in mindset. However, it's a challenge that Nigeria must take on if it wants to secure a better future for its people and the environment. There's no denying that the oil industry has played a pivotal role in shaping Nigeria's economy and society. But as we move towards a more sustainable future, it's clear that the country needs to diversify its economy and invest in renewable energy. While the oil industry has fundamentally shaped Nigeria, it is clear that a new chapter must begin for the sake of its people and the environment. As we reflect on the story of oil in Nigeria, we are left with a chilling realization. The tale of oil exploration in this part of Africa is a complex one, marked by the rise of powerful oil giants and the profound impact they've had on the country's environment and its people. From the dawn of oil exploration, companies like Shell, ExxonMobil, and Chevron have dominated the scene, their influence reaching far beyond the oil wells. Their pursuit for black gold has been relentless, often without regard for the natural beauty of Nigeria's landscapes, nor the well-being of its communities. Over the years, these oil titans have extracted untold amounts of oil, reaping immense profits. Yet the environmental cost has been staggering. Oil spills, gas flaring, and other harmful practices have scarred the land and polluted the water, endangering wildlife and disrupting the lives of countless Nigerians. Meanwhile, the promise of prosperity that oil exploration once held for the people of Nigeria seems to have evaporated like a mirage. Despite the wealth generated, many still grapple with poverty, inequality, and social unrest.